Okay, guys. Yeah, this video, Kenneth Okonkwo video, uh, has been going viral. I saw different comments online, and I'm like, I have to respond to this. This is coming after the June 12th celebration, the remembrance that was done by Tinubu, and also we had a speech that was done by his oh my god, I don't even know what to say. By his excellency in quotes, Peter Obi, which is fine. But I just said I was meant to react to that. But then I saw this interview, and it kind of brings everything together. Okay, it brings everything together. I'm gonna react to it. If you want to watch the full video, just look at the title. Okay, you can always just search through YouTube without my reaction if that's what you want. But I'm gonna react to this, and it's a 53 minutes video. It's interesting. From the comment I've seen, this is the first time I'm watching the full clips. Okay, this is the first time I'm watching the full clips, and I'm gonna be reacting to it. And oh my god, oh my god! From what I've been hearing people say, tweet about, oh my god, it's gonna get really, really interesting. Number one, let's go.
Based here in Abuja, and of course, a politician who made his name in the Nollywood industry in the popular, very popular play Living in Bondage as Andy Okeke. Good to have you on set today.
Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers, for joining us.
All right, let's start this way. Interesting way, anyway. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party insinuated on his appearance on one of the television stations that you kind of betrayed him. That was the implication of his comments. How do you respond or react to that?
Well, let's put it this way. Any politician that knows what he's doing cannot be betrayed by anybody. If there is anybody that betrayed the other, I can say it emphatically that P2B betrayed me. You know, when we started 2023, it was an organic movement. Every Nigerian wanted a change. Every Nigerian was dissatisfied with the way things were going. And everybody wanted a change. And so we and Nigerians felt that there is a new thing that is appearing in the horizon. And because I'm a man looking for the security and welfare of Nigerians, not any politician or any political party, I was sold to it. Nobody drafted me into following the movement. I followed the movement myself. And so when I was chosen to be a spokesperson, I honored it. And then we continued. And everybody knew what I did and my contribution. Because one thing about being a spokesperson is that you are out there. So whatever you're doing is in the public. So whatever you're contributing when you're a spokesperson is out there in the public. And we did. And we achieved what we believed we achieved. And we believe that we won the election.
Okay, let me
Then
stop there.
after that,
Let me stop there.
what happened?
Let me stop there. A lot to unpack there. Okay, a lot to unpack there. Number one, he said something about politicians, real politicians don't get betrayed. That's a lie. That's a lie. You can say that politicians should always prepare for betrayal. Jesus was betrayed. Fine, I know Jesus wasn't a politician, but again, betrayal happens every time, especially in the political space. You wouldn't even be a politician if you don't get prepared for betrayal. So maybe I was trying to say that real politicians don't get surprised if someone betrays them. Okay. And that's one case, right? I mean, you started with like politicians don't get betrayed. That's not true. They do get betrayed. They do get betrayed all the time. Saraki took out the father. The sister took out Saraki. Bukola Saraki, I mean. You understand? So you've got to understand the game and the terrain. And that's what it is. No one can even say Obi betrayed Atiku, because Atiku pulled him out, made him more relevant politically when he ran with Atiku in the PDP. And then he left when the thing was going tough. That's it. Then secondly, he's talking about he winning the elections. I hope they keep saying that they won that election, because the truth is this: there were so many things that was visible to just an ordinary intelligent person during the 2023 elections. I predicted that Peter Obi was going to come third, and rightly so. It did. I didn't expect Obi to win that election. It was clear as day that he wouldn't win, and it's not because he's a bad person. It's not because Nigerians are gullible. It's just because of the terrain of the political situation in Nigeria. People from his party even said that a lot of people didn't even know Peter Obi. But let's continue.
We believe that we were denied.
Okay.
We went to court, up to Supreme Court, and we believe that we did not get justice. Now, our leaders say, calm down. And that was how that chapter ended. What then happened after that? If you did what you did in 2023, if you are a brilliant politician, what you should do is to start preparing, start consolidating for 2027. And the first platform you start with is your party.
100%.
In Nigeria, there's no room for independent candidates.
100%. Yeah.
So you must have a party, a political party as your platform. And when we moved into Labour Party, nobody was interested in the structure of the Labour Party.
Yeah.
Because we moved in for the election. So nobody even wanted to ruffle any structure of Labour Party.
Sure.
That was why when people wanted to assault Labour Party, I took it that they wanted to assault our electoral chances, and I fought fiercely against that. When you hear all those other factions fighting Labour Party then, and we always succeeded. Then after that, there now came a convention where we needed now to start showing the world whether we are serious in building a virile democratic party or not. Whatever you told the world before 2023 will not matter in 2027. True. Because there will be no new thing you will tell them. It is what you do from 2023 to 2027 that they will judge you with.
Mm-hmm.
And I raised the advice that we said we are fighting against the structure of criminality. We said we are better off, even if we lose, doing the right thing than winning doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. That this is the litmus test. And then when we entered into the convention, I, as the spokesperson, was not even informed about the convention.
Whoa.
I saw it leaked when the letter was leaked in the social media. But because I was not interested in being an executive of Labour Party or being interested in any elective post, I was like, I wanted to keep quiet until Peter Obi himself came out publicly to say the people that are doing this convention did not consult people. This convention should not go on
Hmm.
This convention should not go on. And then the convention went on after warning them. And then, knowing the consequence that a leader has said something and the people did not follow the leader, the next thing is that the leader ought to embark on doing something to ensure that his order was obeyed. I called P2B privately. You made this public statement. Do you mean it? Or was it a political statement? Because I have no dog in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, he meant it. Can't I see that he did not even attend the convention? And I'm like, what a cheek. What gave these people the power to continue when our leader has spoken? And that was when I came out to say that convention is illegal and is null and void, and presented my facts by law, because in fairness, it was an illegal convention. That was how I said, no, it can't stand. Then you, the P2B that said that, after a little while, they went and lied to P2B that INEC has accepted them.
Wow.
That was a lie they told him.
Wow.
And then P2B surreptitiously went back to them. And I'm like, sir, you have made a public statement on integrity. Even if INEC has accepted these people, that is not a criterion for you to go back and start dealing with them. Because these people have shown that they are not democratic. If you go back to them, they will destroy your political career. And everything you have said about integrity and everything will die. That these people are now agents in the hand of the government to destabilize you. That you should not try
Go
it.
ahead. Mm.
And that since you have made a public statement and we have started acting on it, if we go back, it's going to affect our integrity.
Exactly.
Me, I don't go back. Because not only that you said it, it is true that what they did was absolutely illegal
Wrong.
and unconstitutional. If you go back to them, I will not go back to you.
Okay.
I will
Makes
not
sense.
go back with you. And you know what?
Wow.
I called all the people that were in the inner circle and told them the same. Look at what our guy is trying to do. He wants to go back with the Abure people. If he does it, he's not going to go back with me, because I do not swallow back my words. And after saying all those things, within like 72 hours, he went back to Abure's office to publicly endorse them. And when he was there talking to them, one of the leaders in that executive sent me the video to mock me that the person I'm fighting for against them has come to their office to endorse them. What am I waiting for? That was the first time I made a public statement that I disassociate myself from anything Abure and his executive. And that was the last time I sat down with P2B to talk. And then we continued.
Okay. Two things. Let's just say something in Yoruba, that the wife that we get married to via the way of dancing will definitely leave. I mean, I'm just trying to put this out there. See, it was predictable that Peter Obi was going to enter into this problem. It was always predictable. Number one is this: Peter Obi has never built a political party. The way Nigeria is structured, and maybe we don't like it, like he said, Nigerians voting and electing someone is critical to the person having a functioning party. Peter Obi has not sat down to understand what it takes to build a political party in a country. He's not been involved in partisan politics. Because if you've been involved in real partisan politics and building that real political party stuff, you gotta know that it's not easy. And again, I understand the fact that Obi wants to be kind of diplomatic at times. And I'm not saying that he should have gone 100% with whatever Kenneth Okonkwo had said. But I'm saying that he should have put his foot down, understand that the next thing after that 2023 election was for him to build a political party. It could have been healthy, it could have been an alternative party, and whatever he was going to do, he had to do it with speed, with serious speed, because there's no time. 4 years is too small to build a party.
Because I told Peter Obi, if because they lied to you, or even they told you that INEC, because then he didn't know they lied to him, but I know, being a lawyer, I said, assuming without considering that INEC has even recognized them, INEC recognized Tinubu. So why not let us go back with him? So I told him, because one philosopher, Alan Kasdan, he said, never compromise your principles, even if it will lead to difficulty in the short term. Never compromise your principles, even if it will lead to problems, to difficulties in the short term. That's my policy.
Okay.
So if INEC recognize them and you know they did the wrong thing and you want to go with them, then you are a politician of convenience, not a politician of conviction. And I told
again, to be fair to Peter Obi in this instance, see, I understand. I understand that it's not that easy. It's not that easy to bring people of differing ideas, differing interests, corrupt, not corrupt, a lot of all these other people together as one. Number two, Peter Obi was meant to, to go through a very, very dire straits where he doesn't have exclusive power over a political party because he didn't build that party. So he is meant to make decisions based on what he thinks as the leader of LP, I would say, of what works best in the interest of himself, in the interest of the party, and in the interest of the country at large. So while I wouldn't take 100% what Okonkwo is saying here, because Okonkwo is not in his shoes, it's different when you're the one making the decision. It's different when you're the one calling the shots. It's easy to say, oh, when I become president, this is what I'm going to do. Or when I become a governor, this is what I'm going to do. Or if I'm a leader, this is what I'm going to do. It's easy to do all that. But at the same time, what I think Peter Obi lacked was the ability to handle complex situations with respect to people with differing views, differing opinion, and he himself having a clear path, to 2027 and a clear path to Aso Rock. Right now, I don't think he does.
him, you are going into a problem. And so we continued. I disassociated myself and continued on that platform. It dawned on him because when he went to endorse them, he saw the backlash. Then he said, no, he's looking for reconciliation. I said, fine. That is still a very good escape route for him if he can, maintain it and distance himself from them. It was when INEC now publicly disassociated itself from Julius Aburi. That was when Obi now came out and became neutral. And I'm like, sir, you cannot be neutral on this issue. Something has to be done. And then, even when INEC dissociated themselves, Labour Party did not have leadership, and confusion was breeding everywhere. I said, sir, you cannot be neutral. You have to say something. NLC had a meeting, and all of us came there. And he said he prefers to sit on the fence.
Wow.
And I'm like, hold on. In front of everybody, I said, sir, this is not something you can sit on the fence. A leader must take a decision. And he insisted he prefers to sit on.
You have to be decisive at times. Can't you see the way at times Tinubu makes his stuff? Once he said it, he might even be wrong. I'm not even saying he has to be right, but you have to be decisive. You have to be wrong in a decisive way. If you want to lead, you have to be wrong. You can't be wrong and say, oh, I don't even know what I was doing. You got to find a way for you to get yourself out of that situation. You cannot be a leader that is not, in charge. People would not want to follow you. People won't want to stay with you. You have to be affirmative. You have to have a direction. People working with you should know where you're going, where you're leading towards, and they should not have a problem to second guess you.
The fence. And I said, okay. When he left, all the people there, we are so annoyed. I still begged them. I said, please. Because I know that his political career is on the line. I still begged them. I said, please, let's write a letter to him and still give him time to take decision. Because everybody wanted to implement whatever is his wish. Because people were fighting for him.
Yeah.
We wrote a letter to him and still gave him some time.
Wherever OB is, wherever it is, I'm not for Labour Party, God knows, because I just feel that whatever it is they want to do, it's their party, it's their choice, it's their right, and all of that. But I think he needs to still call this guy back. I'm trying to work a way out. I understand from what he says, it's not 100%. Okay, when he talks like that, at times he mixes things up. At times he says that, oh, fine, they won the election, when that's not true. Okay, but then I think that he's an asset, not because people love him, but because he tries to say the truth to an extent to which he knows. Okay, I think he still has a path to resolving this issue. If Peter Obi can actually draw him closer. I'm serious. I don't know, but that's my thought.
He still did not reply at all. That was when we came up with the caretaker committee idea. It was my brainchild. I went into the constitution and I told them, the NWC having been rejected, this is the only choice we have legally. And that was how it was carried. And Alex Oti, the governor Alex Oti, took it upon himself because he's a more decisive person. And then organized the woman here trip where they, chose and Obi came and announced the caretaker chairman. After that day, Julius Abure people went to court. Obi even told them that if they go to court and win, he will support them.
What?
After he's announcing the caretaker committee. And they went to court and won. And Obi abandoned the caretaker committee and started working with them. I was still maintaining my stand. I still told the whole world. I said the High Court decision is not according to the law. Because I'm a minister in the Temple of Justice. And our first rule in professional conduct is that we are trained to uphold the rule of law. Abure went to Court of Appeal, as in the caretaker committee went on Court of Appeal. And Abure won.
Boy.
By then, Obi had made up his mind that these people are the authentic one. And he was working with them.
So what else?
The gubernatorial election in Anambra State. It was Abure people that brought the candidate of Labour. Obi worked with them on that. And then I made it clear. After the Court of Appeal decision, and I saw that Obi is still working with these people. Remember, they asked the legal advisor of Labour Party openly, and he said Obi is working with them.
Wow.
Within the time they went to court, I maintain my stand that the High Court and the Court of Appeal, they are in error because that did not accord to the law, because the law is very clear. The Supreme Court has held that the court does not have any jurisdiction to interfere in the internal affairs of political parties. And I say this is the position of the law. And the High Court and the Court of Appeal erred in law. And that even if they go to Supreme Court and Supreme Court holds that they are right, I am done with Labour Party because I have seen what they are doing, and that's not what should be done. And my principle will not allow me, knowing that they are not doing the right thing, to follow them. So I resigned from the Labour Party because I said, whatever is the decision of the Supreme Court, whether it is for caretaker or for Aburedem, I do not think I want to work with this set of politicians that do not have principle.
I agree with him.
And throughout the time I worked with Obi, I never consulted, worked with any politician whatsoever. And I'm making a public statement. When I was in PDP, I never consulted and worked with any politician outside PDP. When I was in APC, the same thing.
How come you...
When I was in Labour Party, the same thing.
Wait. So it's been in PDP, been in APC, is now in LP. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. We don't have a clear-cut ideology in Nigeria. We just have people move around depending on how the wind flows, depending on how things happen to them. So they just decide, okay, fine, I'm going to go with this. Oh, there's another movement, I'm going to go with that. No ideology. I mean, compare that. And again, you don't need to like Tinubu. Like, you don't even need to vote for him. You don't even need to like him as a person. You don't even need to like him as a politician. He's been consistent since day one, never left his principal party. From the day of AD to the day of ACN to the day of APC, he stood there. Even when they took him to court, even when they prosecuted him, even when they challenged him, even when they dragged him, even when they betrayed him, he was still with that one party. So I don't know, but like, people moving from all of the, like, from the structure of criminality to now the supposed leading party that would help. I don't get it.
So I resigned from Labour Party. And then, when the Supreme Court gave judgment, that was when Obi remembered again the caretaker committee. Caretaker committee was in abeyance. As a matter of fact, I was the one who even going to the press when they asked me anything, defending them. Even when I resigned from Labour Party. Because as you know, I'm a public affairs analyst. And I state the facts anytime as clear as possible. So when the Supreme Court gave judgment, it was in favor of the caretaker committee. That was when Obi came back. And when we had that meeting, he said, let us take the CTC to INEC. And they went to INEC. And then they took the CTC there. Yet INEC did not do anything. INEC was delaying. And since then, what has he done? So the issue here is that Obi, when he said that somebody betrayed him, it is not true.
Oh boy.
Obi is the one betraying himself. And let me tell you the gospel truth. Nobody is murdering Obi's political career. Obi is committing political suicide.
Oh. After 2 years of me saying that, finally, this was an obedience. Said, after the election, I said, Obi shouldn't have gone to court. He went to court anyways to contest the election. And I knew that he had, from what I heard, from what I gathered, that he had no case. And it was revealed all those weeks when he would go to court, sleep in court, and all of that. I was like, where are the evidences? This is just not an emotional exercise. Where are the evidences? Where are the stuffs that you want to present to the judge? The case was so bad that at the end of the tribunal, the lawyers were actually begging the justices and the judges not to sanction them. In fact, they did sanction some of them that they had to pay back because they wasted everybody's time. There was nothing additional that came out from that court case. I remember when Tinubu went to court, when Buhari went to court, there were additional stuff that INEC took upon themselves. That was when you had the beavers, the IREV, you have all this verification, you had all this Starlink. Okay, fine, you can't do this, you can't do this. After that, there were visible stuff that the court actually advised INEC to do. And I'm not saying that INEC is perfect, and I'm not saying that the election was 100%, there were irregularities, but I'm saying when it comes to the court case, you have to come in with stuffs. You can't just come in. And I said, that time when Obi went to court, I said, these few weeks immediately after the election was the most crucial time for him to put his foot on the scale and say, I'm going to take over this party. I'm going to bring my people in. So all those major pillars in the obedient movement should have then been brought into the LP, make them have strategic position, have number one, a very high level registration drive, bring people into the party so that they can start registering the party. When time for election comes, like they overwhelm those that are already there, but at the same time, respecting those that have built the party over the years. Not just train them away. So you build a strategic movement as at after 2023, and then you become the de facto leader of the party. The party had no leader. As they were going to court and they were doing this, they were doing that, there was no leadership. So everybody was just doing as they want, and everybody was looking to Peter Obi. You have to take charge here. You cannot just leave it to them. They've never won any major political party stuff. 6 million votes is not beans, okay? None of that happened. None of that happened. And then now, 2 years after, he's saying what I said.
And I mean it. Because I recall when we were campaigning, I went to the national office when I saw their mindset and pleaded with every member of Labour Party that nobody should campaign or endorse any candidate who is not a member of Labour Party.
Mm-hmm.
Till today, when I was Labour Party, I did not endorse any candidate from councillorship to the presidency. The same will be endorsed candidates of other political parties.
Why?
Publicly. The gubernatorial candidate of another party was who Obi endorsed in Cross River State.
What?
Rather than the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate. Publicly. When I'm saying anything I did with Obi, it is only the ones that had been public. Anything we discussed confidentially, I would never say. Unless he brings it up.
Yeah.
So everything I'm telling you is something that's already in the public.
That we all know, yeah? Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it was still Obi that endorsed the candidates of other political parties, apart from Labour Party.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
I recall when I took some Labour Party candidates to the national headquarters, begging that they should be endorsed. I knew the obstacles that I had to pass. So the issue here is,
why was it doing that? Because people were trading LP's name for those other parties. So, like, if you don't understand, let me just explain to you what you just said and what has happened there. So you see what happens is this: LP became a national party after Obi. So they've been having like one state here and there. Nobody really dealt with LP like that. Now they got to the status of being a national party, all thanks to Obi. Obi brought them out, okay? Just the way Atiku brought Obi out, Obi brought Labour Party out. Now, this was what these Labour Party leaders were doing. They go to a state where they see that they don't really have a very strong candidate. And then they trade in their own position or their strength to the candidate of that other party. So let's say, like the Cross River that you said, they know that LP is now a party with at least some recognition. And the PDP guy believes that if we can have LP, in his side, that would boost his own chances of winning the election. So that was what they do. So they now go, oh, this guy LP is supporting this guy, and most people voted for LP in those regions. Then automatically they use those, those arrangements to get more votes and win elections. And he's saying, no matter what, why don't you start building your own people? Even though APC doesn't really have a lot of people in the Southeast, what are they doing now? They're trying to build their own people even in the Southeast. As hostile as the Southeast is to APC, they're building their own people in the Southeast. Even though they may not win the first election, the second election, but maybe something happens. The third election, they start getting some strength. Then the fourth election, they win. That's how you build a political party. And from what he's saying, he going there to say, oh, endorse these people, work with these people. He had the interest of the party at heart. But I don't know.
To make that insinuation. When I was telling him that these people, they were going to sell him out, that if he follows them, I will not follow him. He said I was behaving rascally. I was trying to make him I'm in a haste, that I'm suggesting, trying to make insinuations, because he likes to make insinuations.
This guy has learned.
What is he saying today? The Zombie is saying the government is using these people against him. The same thing Kenneth Okonkwo told him how many months ago? For crying out loud, if you're a leader, you are in such a party, you have 2-3 options. The first one is, if you see that these people are criminals, the way you want to paint them now, you leave the party. Exactly. If you can't solve the problem as a leader, so that your followers will not be confused, and so that you don't get so close to the time of the next election that you would have nothing to do about it. Now, you did not leave. You remained with them. Why? Because you're in cahoot with them in everything they're doing. In all the primaries that the Aburedem organized, none was organized without Obi's approval, whether in Igbo, whether in Edo, whether in Ondo, and now in Anambra. And that was why Obi campaigned for all the candidates that came out of it. So you're in cahoot with these people in private. In public, you want to paint another image. No, you're just being a politician of convenience, not a politician of conviction. So where does Kenneth Okonkwo come into this? When I couldn't take it anymore, I left. And before leaving, I had nothing to do with any politician. Nothing. So the issue here is that a P2B, you're not a team player. You're not a great manager of political issues. And you're looking for your problem outside you.
Oh, my
I told him that whatever happens to Labour Party has happened to his political career.
100%.
Because anytime you're stepping out into a coalition, the destiny of your political future is no longer in your hands. Because you have to subordinate your own interest to the interest of the coalition. Labour Party is not viable now as a party to.
Wow. But it was clear. Everybody saw this. I don't know why Obi didn't see it. He was the most popular politician shortly after the election in 2023. I can say that now. He's still popular, okay? Still have some good followings. I don't know. I don't even know, because when you grow rapidly, when success comes your way and you're not prepared and you've not taken all of the scenarios and you've not done some good sensitivity analysis, you've not checked out all these things, it becomes a big problem.
Prosecute presidential campaign. So his political destiny lies now in the coalition, or he is not going to make any impact whatsoever in 2027. So when he insinuated that Kenneth Okonkwo betrayed him, sorry, Obi betrayed himself, because he is just committing political suicide.
Since you've made reference to the coalition, let's take it from there. What's your general assessment of the viability of the coalition being midwifed by opposition political parties, and are you part of it?
Yes, I am part of the coalition. And in all honesty, the opposition does not even have a choice because the individual political parties are not viable.
Yeah.
So it's not even as if they have a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. They don't. I don't see what can be done now. Talking about coalition, I don't even know what can be done to make this guy strong against the APC. I don't know. And that's why Tinubu was just took them to lunch, took them to the cleaners. I mean, PDP, like for crying out loud, PDP. That has brought us to this current situation where we're in now. Or is it APC, the first 8 years that was full of gloom and worsened the situation that PDP handed over to them, such that you had a CBN president having more than 700 houses? Just one person. Which one? Or is it SDP? Nobody even knows what that is. So right now, I don't know what they have to do to ensure the win. Because the truth is this, it's difficult. And until you're in that shoes, until you're the one calling the shots, you don't know how difficult it is. You can always sit down and say, oh, this is what Obi should have done. This is what Kenneth Okonkwo should have done. But bro, when you get to that point, and you know that every single decision you make has an equal and even maybe more devastating reaction, then you get to understand that it's not easy. Right now, I don't see any coalition that makes sense. I mean, you guys said you were going on a coalition move, and then people started moving towards Ashiwaju. I don't even get it. Like, you guys started this whole coalition story. Verify, started saying, oh, we're going to push him out, and then people started moving to APC. Like,
if the coalition cannot succeed, let all of them unanimously go and endorse Tinubu. No, you don't waste the time of Nigerians. I'm not the kind of person that will come and not tell you the truth. I know what people suffered in 2023. They stayed in the rain. They stayed in the sun to vote for us. I will not subject Nigerians to such suffering if I am not sure that the opposition parties are serious. You want to deal with an incumbent and you want to gallivant that you want to say you don't want to be united. And you want me to tell Nigerians to come and waste their time to fly home. Some people flew home from abroad. I know one young man that had a daughter. He had a problem with the wife, and the daughter was autistic.
Yeah.
Yet he had to fly both of them home to vote for us. Then you're telling me you want to go alone, and you want me to come, and the opposition parties do not even have a choice. The only choice they have is to come together, consolidate their fortunes, and take out Tinubu. Nigerians will be willing to vote if they are sure that the oppositions are not in disarray, and if they are sure that their votes will count. If they are sure that when they vote, the politicians will be able to defend their votes, or at least galvanize them to defend their votes themselves. If they see that there is any politician who is not serious, who goes alone, they might ignore the politician. Because according to the law of thermodynamics, if you want to transfer energy from one matter to the other, some energy will unavoidably be lost. So even though we are in the coalition, eventually, I cannot guarantee you that everybody will end up being in the coalition. But if some people are leaving because of their personal selfishness, because of their personal considerations, Nigerians will be willing to ignore that person.
Yep.
But if it is because the opposition cannot on their own come together, then Nigerians will say, these people are not serious. If you cannot act in unity, how then will you even act in unity if we give you our votes? So the opposition do not even have a choice. They must have to coalesce. So I'm part of it because I'm part of the people that believe that this government has become an apology. You know, when people are arrogantly, disorderly, and unconscionably evil, that's what this government has become. I am telling you, How do you explain that hundreds of people are massacred in Benue under your nose? And the governor is shouting, crying, telling you what is happening. And yet, you do not move in immediately. When one person, an American, was held in Niger State in Nigeria, they deployed all their resources to rescue the person.
Wow.
In Nigeria, you're rather taking resources away from where the insurgents are operating to take them to another place. Zulum said the resources that are needed to fight Boko Haram is being taken away to Northwest. And that is why the insurgency is resurfacing. Why didn't you use that money that you want to that you used to buy your private jet? Why didn't you use it to buy those resources you need for the Northwest, at least as a matter of priority, to prioritize the life and welfare of your citizens? You can still get a private jet when things are sorted out. Why would it be your first priority? After you're removing fuel subsidy, that people are paying 1,000 naira plus for what they were paying 100 naira plus, and you're telling me it was a wise thing you removed subsidy? No, it was a wicked thing. It was not a demonstration of wisdom. It was a demonstration of wickedness. Because people that were earning 30,000 and you increase this fuel first before increasing their salary, how would they survive? So it is not anything secret that we have more malnourished children in.
Again, I agree with him that the way the subsidy was done, I was expecting Tinubu to have almost immediately increased the salary of the civil servant, because when he does that, then every other organization will also follow suit, and then there will be some level of stuff. Now, Tinubu, to be fair to him, he had his own argument that we had no money in the treasury, that the whole situation was disastrous, that there was even no money to even survive as a country, and that it was just a matter of time before we start queuing to buy bread or become a Zimbabwe. And that's how painful that, I am, that Buhari actually messed up this whole thing more than whatever Jonathan had done. Because we thought Buhari would come in and then redirect the ship. No, it went further down.
Nigeria now than in war-torn Sudan. It was as a result of the wicked policies of making transportation unaffordable. Farmers cannot go to farm because of insecurity. And then you are not prioritizing their security and welfare, but prioritizing the welfare of yourself, your family, and your cronies. You are giving a project of 15 trillion naira for your family business without competitive bid. Then you will renovate, because what Tinubu is doing now is refurbish and rename. They will refurbish existing structure and rename it after Tinubu. A structure built by IBB, the International Conference Center, with 240 million naira. You refurbished with 39 billion naira, and you named it after yourself. So also other infrastructure. That's not wisdom. That's wickedness. So I want you to understand that the coalition needs to come in now to salvage this country.
To me, I'm even thinking that the coalition might even be very late at this point. At this point, I'm thinking the coalition should have been done like maybe months ago or maybe years ago. Say maybe 2024 or early 2025. Right now, like next year is really the only year you have left for campaigning and all of that. Election comes in February 2027, and right now we don't even know where the opposition parties are at.
Because we are heading towards Armageddon. And this is the government that has the audacity to lie. If the inflation figure is going too high, they will rebase it and tell you it's no longer 34, it's 24 by rebasing. So the coalition is very important, and Nigerians are waiting for the coalition. Is it not amazing that when Governor Umeno went to APC, that 3 commissioners, as I heard, said they were not going with him. Even one commissioner had 2 portfolios, risking his livelihood. So you can imagine the level that Nigerians detest APC. However, it is not the badness of APC that will make them to go. It will be the goodness of the coalition. So the coalition has to come together in unity, dropping their individual preferences, like I have dropped mine. And whoever wins in a free and fair primary election, every other person should support that person. It's not a game of north or south. It's not a game of zoning. It's a game of survival. When you want to survive, you don't begin to look for any excuse, so that we can take out Tinubu first and have a transitional government that will establish democratic.
I wish you luck on that one. I wish you luck on that one. Again, just to be fair, again, I'm not going to be trying to defend Tinubu here, but to be honest with you, and this is, and I might be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about here. But again, there was no way you would have expected a lot of all these pains because Nigeria was left and was taken to the cleaners. I'm telling you, truthfully, the old treasury was stolen. It's that bad. It's that bad. Okay, it was that bad. And that was what happened. So, what I think, where I think Okonkwo has a very good point, is that the way and manner in which the current leading party, or the party in power right now, also has taken over the thing is that they've not shown enough empathy. You've told people, oh, they need to cut down on their excesses because there's no dollars, there's no money, there's issues and all that, but you're still going buying the yacht, you're still doing all the other things you always do. The senators are getting cars worth hundreds of millions. And again, I can't just defend that. I can't. It's quite painful. And that's where opposition comes into play. But what have they done? Nothing. They also collected the cars. They're also enjoying some of those benefits.
Structures and build institutions that will make Nigeria to start growing and developing from there.
Since you also made reference to Governor Enomo, he also made a comment concerning you over your comment on him, saying that you are living in bondage. How do you respond to that?
You know, first and foremost, he demonstrated ignorance in creativity and the artistic world. Sorry, it was Andy Okeke that lived in bondage, not Kenneth Okonkwo. And then, Andy Okeke, even in living in bondage, the film ended in his deliverance. And even in the sequel, Andy Okeke became Pastor Andy Okeke. And Pastor Andy Okeke is not a fake one. He is original one. So, let's look at it this way. Pastor Imeno said it was a failure. Can you imagine? Living in Bondage was shot in 1992. This is 2025. That should be about 33 years. And that movie is still relevant enough that Pastor Imeno will make a reference to it.
Fair point.
That movie created Living in Bondage. The Living in Bondage created the Nollywood that has employed millions of the youth and made us proud worldwide. We are now the number 2 in the whole world in Nollywood. And Pastor Menno has just become a governor for 2 years. And he's already fading. 2 years. And living in bondage is 33 years. And it's still relevant that Governor Menno will make a reference to it.
A fair point.
Governor Menno in his life will never be able to create up to 1 million jobs. Living in bondage has created more than millions of jobs. You know, Daniel Boala say once you enter APC, your brain will stop working. It is obvious that Pastor Umeno's brain has stopped working.
Okay, now
why am I saying that? Was it not Pastor Umeno's daughter that accused him of sacrificing the wife?
What?
So who is now living in bondage? The truth is that Pastor Umeno now is now the real Andy Okeke in real life.
Bro.
Because he's been accused by his own daughter, not me.
Bro,
that he used his wife for sacrifice. That was what Andy Okeke did. So, and Pastor Umeno wanted to say, no, we are living in the, dream world. That's the reality now is that he's the one who is being accused by his daughter that he used his own wife to sacrifice. Good. That was what Andy Okeke did. So the truth is that if there is anybody living in bondage now, it is Pastor Umo Eno. And it is showing, since he entered into APC, it has been from one calamity to the other, one calamity to the other. And Kenneth Okonkwo is still moving in my fight for the security and welfare of the people. I sympathize with Umeno. Look at him. He said, I left Labour Party. I left this. I have never transferred the mandate of any party to another political party. Umeno, whatever he is today, was given to him by PDP. He was made by PDP. And he left PDP for APC. Who is the person that is morally bankrupt? Since I entered a political party, I have been the one given to the political party without complaining. Because I will tell you what I want. And nobody will make me to do what I don't want. Because they will know from the one. I'm not coming in for loyalty to you as a politician or to a political party, but for Nigerians. So nobody will make me to move against my principle. Once you start doing anything that does not guarantee the security and welfare of Nigerians, you have a problem with me. Once you're doing anything that does not align with principle, my principle, structure of criminality should be destroyed. So if structure of criminality is existing in under your nose, like it was existing in Peter Obi's case, Peter Obi said, Nigeria, he wants to fight structure of criminality. But structure of criminality was existing right under his nose, and he was voting with them.
Oh, no.
So, Umeno, who is saying that I left LP and ran away, the same Umeno, everything, and say he cannot fight. Oh, I cannot fight like weak and run away. No party has given me anything, and I have not transferred any party's mandate to another party. So he appeared uncoordinated, childish, and of course, like I said before, very transgenderic. Very. Because what is being transgenderic? It's not speaking to your sexual orientation. No. It's speaking to the fact that your gender, as in, is not even clear. We don't know whether you're a man or woman. A metaphoric statement, spoken metaphorically to show that you're neither here nor there. And I maintain it.
All right. You've spoken so much about insecurity and related issues. Looking at the state of the nation generally, there have been widespread insecurity. Before it was restricted to the Northeast, but right now it's virtually across the length and breadth of the country. And of course, Nigerians are also crying of hunger. And all of this. And then, of course, they also relate it to a threat on our democracy. What's your reaction?
It's unfortunate that this government can even celebrate Democracy Day. What are you celebrating? The whole idea of Democracy Day, if you remember, was that a military ruler annulled a free and fair election. One can understand. He's a military, leader. He's not democratically elected. But a democratically elected president, President Tinubu, annulled the election of Rivers State people. Whenever you suspend a governor and all the elected representatives, you have annulled that election.
No. Let me stop him there. He doesn't. No, that's not what happened. Okay, so the question is that there's been the question on constitutionality of what Tinubu did. It's in the constitution that you can actually remove a state governor. Now you can argue that this occasion didn't rise to that standard set by the constitution. That's fine. But a politician is a politician. He will do whatever he wants with respect to that power given to him by the constitution. It was left for the National Assembly to either accept or oppose that. And he went to the National Assembly and it was accepted. Now we have the guy that was suspended even saying that he wants to really thank the president for making that decision. So I don't know how we come up with this. It wasn't constitutional, or this is what I thought he should have done. He shouldn't have done this and that. He should have waited till everything is in crisis and maybe hacked. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Election, even if it is temporarily. That's what it means. That was why I was saying he suspended sections of the constitution to be able to promulgate that martial law. Because the governors, the House of Assembly members were elected by the Rivers State people. And federalism means that the central government has its own powers enunciated in the exclusive legislative list. They have their own, the states have their own powers enunciated in the concurrent list and in the residual list. Where did he get the power to annul an election by the federating unit? Because when you say you're suspending a governor, you are annulling an election, even if it's temporarily. Fubara's years is 4 years. When you suspend him for 6 months, you have taken 6 months away from the 4 years. That means he was never now a governor for 4 years.
What?
That is against the spirit of June 12th. Even all the die-hard followers
wasn't a governor
condemned
for the
it.
complete 4 years. Yeah.
Even Wole Soyinka, even Ayo Fayoshi. Because you can't be sitting as an elected president and you're removing an elected governor. Okay, look at it. How many people did they say died in Rivers State for them to proclaim that state of emergency? How many people are dying in Benue? How many people are dying in Borno?
Yeah.
How many people died
They're going to
in
get Tinubu on that
Niger State?
Plateau.
In Plateau State. And then, where is the state of emergency? You know, in South Korea, the Constitutional Court, in agreeing that the president of South Korea should be removed for declaring martial law and trying to remove constitutionally elected government, they said no. Political logjam should be settled politically, not by the declaration of martial law. What was going on in Rivers State was a political logjam. It was not anything that has to do with security of Rivers State. And Tinubu, being a central government, has no business to interfere in a federating unit by the principle of federalism on how they settle their political logjam. Because the constitution is very clear.
I agree in a way.
You can impeach the governor, you can remove him. Yeah. That is the only acceptable way.
But the challenge and what people said was that if Tinubu had left Fubara, if he had not intervened, they would have impeached him, which to me, I think is fair game. Okay, I think it's fair game. So even Wike wasn't happy that Tinubu had to remove Fubara because everything was set. His impeachment was already done. It was already gone. And another problem that Fubara then had was that all of the things that he did, the atrocities that he did in his first few years, was actually catching up to him, how he went to destroy the state assembly, how he withheld people's salary for months, how he presented the whole budget just to 3 people. So Fubara was gone. Tinubu had to step in to kind of mediate, and Wike was not happy that happened. Again, maybe Tinubu should have allowed, the die to fall wherever, but I don't know. But for you to say that Tinubu was just doing things out of sheer, ignorance or not putting emphasis on the rule of law, I don't know what would have been the best situation. Maybe Fubara should have been impeached at that point, but I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Way of removing a governor by the Constitution, Section 188. Then the governor can die, and then God has removed him. He can resign. He can be permanently incapacitated and be removed. So that is the only way you can remove a governor, by Section 188, 189. And the governor cannot come into existence except through election. But Tinubu cancelled the election of Fubara and brought in a military man to govern Rivers State. This was exactly what happened in June 12th.
Okay, fair enough.
Babangida cancelled the election and brought in a Shoneko. And then Abacha came in. And that was how they continued until Abiola died. If anything happens to Fubara now before 6 months, is that not the reputation of Abiola issue? Because you don't have any right over somebody's life. So what Tinubu did was exactly what Babangida did in June 12th. So let him stop blaming Babangida for annulling June 12th, because he has annulled the election of Rivers people, even if it is temporarily.
No, he didn't annul, young man. He didn't annul the election of Rivers people. He just took the guy out to. I mean, I cannot defend that. To be honest with you, I cannot defend what. Yeah, I can't.
Unlimited grocery delivery.
I don't know, but I cannot defend what Tinubu did. To be honest with you, yeah, because it's a little bit dicey. There was no actual evidence of real disaster that was going to happen. So there's no way I can say, oh, Tinubu did what was right there. Maybe he should have allowed Fubara to. It's just like let nature take its course. Let things happen. If he's impeached, let him go to court and all that. But for you coming in to step into the matter to save Fubara or to save Wike from ridicule, I think Tinubu actually overstepped his bound. But then what do I know? Like, why is Fubara now coming in to say, oh, thank you for saving me. Thank you for stepping into the matter. Maybe he shouldn't have stepped into the.
Because take away 6 months. It is no longer 4 years. That is the constitutional mandate. So he annulled the election for 6 months. So the kettle should stop calling the pots black. This is a black democracy day. And it will go into history that an elected president has annulled the election of Rivers State people to impose on them a military man for no reason. Because the constitution is clear on what state of emergency entails, and it has nothing to do with removing elected representatives. Goodluck Jonathan declared state of emergency in 3 states, opposition states, and did not remove any governor.
Fair enough.
And Tinubu declared the state of emergency in Rivers State and used it to usurp the power of the opposition.
He has a point there. I wouldn't defend Tinubu on that one.
No other person has done it. When Obasanjo declared his own state of emergency, it was only in the states that are governed by his own party. But Tinubu used his own to grab power of Rivers State. And Tinubu is now the person presenting the budget of Rivers State illegally to National Assembly. And National Assembly illegally approved through voice vote Tinubu's proclamation. You see how everything, we're waiting for the courts to know whether they will complete the illegality or that they will rule according to law. So I don't want to comment on that since it is sub judice. So the issue is that it's a black democracy day. Just like everything this government has been doing,
I wouldn't say it's a black
imposing on us
democracy there.
black
I mean, I don't
economic
know.
policies
I don't know. I wouldn't
that
say it's a
makes
black
inflation
democracy
to
there.
become galloping
It
inflation.
is what it is.
Look at
Uh,
energy costs,
it's bad.
astronomical. We are paying almost 1,000 naira per liter.
Hey, on that energy cost, please don't go there, because to be honest with you, that's the best thing that Tinubu has done with respect to his reform. There was no way Nigeria was going to crash and get destroyed. And I know there are different school of thought to say, oh, he should not have done it this way. He should have just done it systematically. He should have actually done it. He should have put out a plan. No, that was the only way. Nobody could have done it. And he came in to do it. So again, that's the problem I have with people that are not actually making decisions. They don't have the shoes on their foot. They don't even know what it takes to govern. They don't have all these things well set. Now, it might not have done it the way we wanted. Maybe there could have been some palliatives done and all of those. I understand. But to say that gas price or petrol price is up, and then you want to blame that fully on him, no, I don't think that's right.
That's the salaries of workers. When Tinubu came in, they were earning about $60 per month. Now they're earning about $40-something per month, even with his increased salary, because the exchange rate was about 400, and when he came in, which is more than $60 if it is 30,000. Now it's about 1,600, which is less than $45, even if it is 70,000 naira. Look at high interest rates. They want people to borrow money at the cost of 35%. How would you recover your principal and interest to pay back the loan within a year? So businesses are collapsing. Look at the refineries. They invested billions and told us it's working. Now they told us they are back to maintenance. Why don't you sell them off? Lying government. So look at transportation. People no longer go to work. People that have small businesses have brought back the businesses to be used in their house. Because if you transport yourself to your workplace and you don't sell, you'll be bankrupt. Look at security.
Really
People
bad.
cannot go through the street.
Really bad.
They're afraid of being
bad.
kidnapped. They cannot go to their farm. They're afraid of being raped or kidnapped. If they go to the river, flood will carry them.
Really bad.
200 died
Really bad.
of erosion in Niger State. So look at frequent policy flip-flop. So where would you say that this government has excelled to make me to say, please, let's give them one more chance? I can't see. You know what? Again, promised 12%.
Again, you know, just for the benefit of the doubt, Nigeria has always been on that different problems. You know, at some point, there's actually been no government that has really been able to put things in order for years. Not just 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And Buhari's administration was more like the crescendo. So giving them just 2 years to resolve all of these problems actually is not fair. To be honest with you, it's not. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. I believe that things are beginning to shapen, but you won't see it. It's difficult to build. It's easy to destroy.
GDP growth per year, if it's given a chance to govern. Now, even with all the figures, they're saying about 3-point-something%.
No, that's not too good.
That is about 25% achievement from the promise that he made. That's F.
No, that's not so good.
25 out of 100 is what? F. So this government summarily is an F government.
A lot of Nigerians thought that this democracy, they presented him an opportunity to probably recall Fubara as governor of Rivers State. But it was a hope dashed. Were you surprised that was not done? And then how do you look at the president and Nyesom Wike, their political involvement in Rivers State, what it means to our larger democracy?
Well, I think I've answered that question because, first and foremost, I was not expecting Fubara to be recalled. Let me make this clear. I am not against any peaceful resolution to the crisis. No. As a man of faith, my faith teaches me that follow peace with all men, without which no man can see God. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. I don't have a problem with the governor suing for peace with anybody. No, I don't. I don't have a problem with the governor and Wike reconciling. I'm only saying it should not be at the cost of rule of law. It should not be at the cost of the security and welfare of the people of Rivers State.
Yeah, but,
And it should never be at the cost of the governor living on his knees. Give this governor liberty or give him death. I mean it.
So
this must be the most popular iSmart watch on the market right now. With it, there's no need to.
Again,
Because the governor, being
I don't know.
the chief executive of the state, needs a minimum amount of confidence to be able to govern his state.
I don't think a government that lacks confidence will go in and bulldoze the state assembly. So I don't understand what confidence again that we're talking about. And another thing is this: I understand the fact that this guy from nowhere was enthroned by Wike. That being said, I believe that he should have been more tactful, should have been more strategic. If you want to take him on, I'm for two of them, taking themselves on, fighting and all that. But you don't, in a bid to actually right the wrong, create another bigger problem for yourself. Because no matter where he goes, they will know that he was the one that went to the state assembly to bulldoze the state assembly. He was the one that presented the budget to just 3 people. And it was really, cut and dry. It was meant to be impeached. And for the purpose of peace, I guess, Tinubu had to make that decision. Now, that may not be 100% rule of law, which I get, but again, it is what it is.
When Ngige was kidnapped, when they rescued him first, they started preaching to him, for him to realize that he's even still the governor. A chief executive of a state needs a minimum level of confidence to operate. If you make him to live on his knees, he will not achieve anything reasonable. I will not be such chief executive. That's why you should give me liberty or give me death. I don't need to tell you that if I'm a governor like that, if Tinubu declares state of emergency, I don't need to tell you that I will not leave that state house. They should either give me.
Okay. Well, so that's the thing. You're not. Okay. You were not. You're not a governor. And I don't trust most of these utterances, except you're there. You remember Buhari promised $1 for 1 naira, right? I mean, instead we got the opposite.
Liberty or give me that. If I'm a chief executive officer and you want me to live on my knees, no, I will die one day. It's irresponsible to fear the inevitable. It's either we are doing the right thing or we are not. So this is what I'm saying. Fubara, they are simply outsmarting him. In the first so-called agreement, they outsmarted him.
He has no card.
He did it at the cost of rule of law. He even naively went and withdrew his own statement of defense in court. Yet those people refused to withdraw their own case. And part of the agreement is that everybody would withdraw. You see? So the guy is just unfortunate. He's dealing with everybody in open mind and clean mind. And they are dealing with him with perverse mind, pretending they want to help him.
They're both politicians.
But the truth is that they want to finish him. Now, the Supreme Court judgment that was neither here nor there. Look at the whole confusion it has thrown. Legislators are now in droves moving as they like. That is why the judiciary should know that they are so important. Because in the separation of powers, the function of the judiciary is to cut the excesses of the executive or the legislature so that democracy can have a free flow. If the judiciary misses it, our democracy is threatened.
As we wrap up, do you have any words of encouragement for your fans?
Well, you know, I have fans both as a Nollywood star. They've refused to, to let me go. And I want to tell them that it is because of the love they showed for me in that living in bondage that is making me to say I must fight for all of them. When that living in bondage came, there was no industry like Nollywood. And they showed so much love. Every Nigerian accepted me. Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. The first one that came out was not subtitled. It was purely an Igbo thing. It was the yearning of our brothers from the Yoruba and the Hausa side that made us to take it back to subtitle it. They say they want to hear everything. And can you imagine? That's why nobody can convince me today that there is any part of Nigeria that hates Igbo. No, you cannot convince me.
Oh, that's good to
Because
hear.
that movie that was shot,
That's good to know.
they showed love for it and showed
That's good to
love
know.
for us that we are speaking only Igbo in it. So that was when I knew that there's no problem between the followers. There's nothing like religion or ethnicity within the followers. It is the manipulation of the elites to divide the people so that they can govern them.
I agree.
So living in bondage was an eye-opener to me. And I now made up my mind.
To hear. Good to hear that.
I became a hero in Nollywood because of the love of the people. I will love them. I will serve them. And you know the beauty of my faith. In my faith, he that should be a leader shall not lord it over them. He that should be a leader shall be a servant. That's what Jesus Christ said. So you have the right to call me Kenneth Okonkwo the servant. So these people that have made me a hero by their love, I will continue to serve them.
Okay, so we'll see.
That comes after rule of law, comes after the security or welfare of Nigeria, whoever you are, I'm going to come after you.
Thank you very much for sparing your time to speak to us on a wide range of issues, and you've spoken passionately from your heart. Once again, we appreciate you for being on our set.
Thank you. God bless you.
And you too. Thanks.
So that was a good one. That's a good one. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but it's not as easy as we think. Okay. Am I spelling it right? Kenneth Okonkwo. Okay. Oh, it's trending. Oh my god. It's actually trending right now. Okay. Still on Kenneth Okonkwo, but this video Yoruba button to be now the Obedient movement those that this guy was previously, I think, and people are just getting the clips and like he was really at Peter Obi at this point, and I don't know. He's saying that his political career is dead, but we'll see. Wow, we'll see. Can you clarify when Mr. Obi ever used the word betrayed or accused anyone of betrayal? Yeah, so he has actually alleged the word, but I don't know if we have that. Let me see if there is any video that says that aren't you the permissive liar, man? Oh boy, Pio is not perfect. He has a shortcoming just like anyone else, and that makes him a human being. Firstly, Pio never directly talked down on Kenneth Okonkwo, neither did he ever malign him. Pio only stated that KO has the right to move on. Yeah, I think I did hear that it was his brother and he had to go, but again, an actor who sees any opportunity to act, there's a camera in front of him, so people are like, he's acting. So these are the obedience, bro. I don't know. Then someone said Ken is correct. Peter Obi must subordinate his ambition to the coalition. He's obedient, and their online abuses are leading him into a political wilderness. Yeah, there's the school of thought that says that, you know what, it's going to get to a point where the obedient will actually push Peter Obi to a full career suicide, and there will be no coming back from here. Now, people are, the obedient are really going to go after him. He's an actor. It was just a move. When it was going about abusing Tinubu, cursing out the APC and all the PDP, wasn't a mole then, but immediately it started talking against Peter Obi now is a mole. I don't know. I'm just saying that politics is different from personal emotions. We have to be able to say the truth wherever it falls. Someone is saying, I think Peter Obi needs a better strategy. Political advisor, most of these guys hanging around him are not good. Wow. When it comes to political strategy, again, I'm saying Peter Obi needs to revamp the whole thing. The whole thing needs to be revamped. Right now, I'm not sure that he's able to deliver the goods, okay? I'm not sure he's able to deliver the goods, and that's the problem. Peter Obi betrayed me. Ex-obedience are indeed more brutal with exposing Peter Obi. I'm telling you, all the things that, people that were not really obedient or people that were just looking from the sideline. When it all started, I was just looking from the sidelines, but it was always like they come out, they cusp you out, they thumbs, they block you. When you're in spaces, they block you. Even when you're not talking and when you're just like putting thumbs down, they block you. They don't have the ability to take in dissent opinion. You understand? If you dissent on what you're saying, you're out of that movement. And again, the movement just keeps shrinking by the day. It keeps shrinking by the day. I'm not going to play all of this because we've listened to that all in the interview, but I hope. You see, this guy saying there's nothing he said that we haven't said before, like you said. So, exactly, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it is what it is. Why is no one attacking Kenneth Okonkwo? And people are, to be honest with you, when Abacha send people on exile, and Kenneth Okonkwo send our Temu Messiah on exile. Okay, so that's it. 3 key points here. He's not a team player. He's a terrible manager. Wow. And again, it's just a fact because I had so much expectation. Even though I knew from the beginning that there was a capacity issue with Peter Obi, but I still had an expectation that it would still do better than what we have right now. I was expecting an opposition leader that would really take it to the main political party. I was expecting, okay? I was expecting that we're going to get a better performance. And not just Peter Obi coming out to tweet about the misfortune of Nigeria, but strategically getting into the states, building a political party that is actually big and broad, because I knew PDP couldn't play opposition. They don't know how. They're either saddled with corruption or they've meddled themselves into bad stuff in the past. So they don't have that right and they don't have that capacity to talk. But I didn't know that was a big expectation. It's 3 p.m. Kenneth Okonkwo is not trending. They are not raining curses on him. They are not dragging him. They're not saying he's hungry. Nobody has called him a mole. Well, somebody just did, and they're not calling him a bygod. Okay. It's like obedient, they forget their work, but not to worry. I've helped them out. They can't tell me that Kenneth Okonkwo spoke emphatically against their Messiah, and they are not tagging him as working for Tinubu here. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Peter Obi betrayed me. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Wow. 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 This took out whatever discussion, whatever it is that we had with this Democracy Day celebration. This took it out and just brought in a new conversation. I expect the Labour Party to come out with a rebuttal. I expect Peter Obi to respond to this. And when it does, I'm interested in listening to what he has to say, because this is not good. This is not good. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think. Is there a coming out from this on Peter Obi's end? I don't know. But again, I wish he could. I expect him to add more, and I wish he could do that to the polity. Thanks, guys, for listening. Next one.